So a very good morning to all of you, and I welcome you all in this session on data flow diagram. So a data flow diagram represents the flow of data within an information system, and it provides a graphical representation of the data flow within a system that can be understood by both technical and even non-technical persons. So it actually provides an overview of what data system is going to process and what transformation are going to be performed, which type of data and in which format you are going to store it, and what results are going to be produced by analyzing that data. So actually there are two types of DFD. First one we call logical data flow diagram, and second one is physical data flow diagram. So actually in logical data flow diagram, it mainly focuses on the system processes and it illustrates how data flows in the system. So logical data flow diagram mainly focuses on high level processes and data flow without diving deep into technical implementation details. And a logical DFD is used in various organizations for the smooth running of the system. Like in a banking software system, it is used to describe how data is moved from one entity to another. So this is a logical data flow diagram in which customer produces the items to purchase to the identity item. Then item ID will be provided to look up prices. And for prices database, prices will be sent to look up prices. Then both item and prices will be provided to compute the total cost of order. Then an amount that has to be paid by the customer or by the user will be provided to settle the transaction and issuing the receipt. And that payment will be done by customer, and after completion of that payment, the receipt will be provided to the customer. So this is the complete logical data flow diagram for this customer paying that for that particular item according to the prices mentioned, then the payment will be completed, then receipt will be provided to the customer. So this is a complete logical data flow diagram. So now we come to physical data flow diagram. So physical data flow diagram shows how the data flow is actually going to be implemented in the system. So in physical DFD, we include additional details such as data storage, data transmission, and a specific technology or system components that are going to be stored that data. So physical DFD is more specific and it is more close to the implementation. So now we have a physical data flow diagram in which customer provide the items to be purchased for pass item over a scanner. So it will be of course manual. Then item ID will be shared for looking up code and price in file. Then UPC code will be shared to UPC price file. Then item description and prices will be shared. Then items and prices are going to be forwarded to lookup code and price in file. Then of course a temporary transaction file will be generated and that will be shared with the items and prices. Then items, prices, and what is the total bill or total amount that has to be paid will also be shared for that temporary transaction file. And then final amount that has to be paid by the customer, that will be shared for lookup code and price in the file. Then customer may be paying that amount in the form of cash or check, or whether by using his or her debit card. Then finally the cash register and that receipt will be provided to the customer. So this is the complete physical flow diagram. Next we have different levels of DFD also, like level 0, level 1, level 2 and level 3 and beyond that also. So level 0 DFD, that we also know as context diagram, provides a high level overview of the entire system. and it mainly focuses on the system as a single process and its external entities, whether it is user or other stakeholders, and the data flow in the system. So no internal process, only external inputs and outputs are going to be mentioned in level 0 DFD. For example, we have a library system where inputs will be book requests from users or students, and outputs will be the issued books and notifications. Then we have level 1 DFD that expands the context diagram by breaking down the system into main sub-processes. And it mainly shows the major processes data stores, whether it is database or in terms of a file or directory structure, and data flows between them. It captures actually internal flows between the different components of that system, but it remains at the high level. An example of level 1 DFD may be a library system broken down into user management that handles user details, book search module that processes the search queries, and a module for issuing books that manages book issuance. Level 2 DFD actually provides a detailed breakdown of each level 1 sub-processes, and it mainly describes how each main process is further divided into smaller tasks. And mainly it adds more granularity with all data stores, flows, and sub-processes. So the example may be a book search process from level 1 that can be divided further into validating queries to check the user input, to search database for retrieving the book details from that database, and returning the results to display the available books in that library. Then we have level 3 and beyond that actually further refines the complex processes into sub-processes, and it is mainly used for large systems requiring deeper insights about that system. And it provides the most granular view of the system operations. And an example for this level 3 DFD may be in search databases that can be broken down into check book availability, that how many books are available or how many copies of that particular book are available in the database. Then fetch book location. Then that fetch book location will provide you the detail about the shelf or the rack where that book has been kept by the library people or person who is going to take care of all those things. So these are the levels of DFD. Then now we can summarize these DFD levels. Like for level 0, that we know as context diagram, that provides entire system view, and complexity will be low here. Then we have level 1 that is actually used for major system processes and data stores. Complexity level will be medium here. Level 2, detailed sub-processes of each level 1 DFD we are going to include here. So of course the complexity will be a little bit high. For level 3 and beyond level of DFDs, actually it will be decomposing the detailed sub-processes for the entire system. So of course the complexity will be very high here. So this was all about DFDs from my side. Thank you very much.